Well, what if you never had to change your clocks? Well, it just might happen. The Senate unanimously approved a bill yesterday that would make it so you never have to turn your clock back again. It's now headed to the House for a vote. And to hash this bill out a little bit more, we're happy to be joined by U.S. Senator Patty Murray. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, first off, tell us about this bill and what it means for Americans.
What the bill is that we passed the Senate yesterday will mean that you don't have to change your clocks anymore, that we will stay on daylight savings time. So it means not messing with those clocks twice a year, not trying to explain to your kids why they have to get up earlier or later or all those complications. And it means we will have more light later in the winter time, which to me is just a gift.
Now, this you passed unanimously in the Senate, which, finally something that can bring all Americans together, I think. Do you expect it to have the same support in the House?
Well, we are beginning to talk to House members. I am doing all that work as well as our other co-sponsors. I'm working with Senator Rubio from Florida, and we're both working our friends and colleagues. And I think this is a time for American people to speak up and let their members of Congress know this is something they want.
Now, we spoke with a UW sleep expert actually last week on our show here, and he argued that standard time is actually better for the body than daylight saving time because of how our bodies react to daylight in the morning. Were sleep scientists consulted at all in the writing of this bill?
Well, there are scientists on all sides of this. We also have scientists who say it is much better for people to have more light in the evening during their most productive hours. And so I think, you can argue either way. But for me, I like, if it's dark in the morning, I understand that, but I know it's going to get light. But once it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's the end of the day. And I think to me and to many people, it is much better to have a winter where you have, you don't go to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I personally am right there with you. I like it to be lighter later because I like it to have something to look forward to, I guess. But
Exactly.
The move to permanent daylight saving time was tried back in 1974. It had big nationwide support. There were quickly complaints, though, about children going to school in the dark, people commuting to work in the dark. There is that side of it, too. I know public support quickly plummeted. It didn't even last a year. How is this time going to be different?
Well, I think people recognize there's a choice. And that obviously passing a law doesn't mean more daylight time, but when you have it. But there's a second part of this that I think is key to this is we're just tired of changing our clocks, trying to explain to our kids and our pets and ourselves that we have to lose an hour of sleep again, or we have to gain an hour, and we're trying to figure it out. If you have kids and you just got them into a sleep pattern, and all of a sudden everybody has to change their clocks, it's a nightmare. Why put this stress on families twice a year? We can take that away.
And lastly, real quick here, when could this potentially go into effect?
The way the bill is written is that it will go into effect 1 year from now. And that's so that all those folks who have to change schedules, flights, those kinds of things, will have the time to be able to adjust to that. So my hope is a year from now, you will never have to change your clock again.
All right, Shalom. This is Howard 1 by Nyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, Le Hawa, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakar Kodash, Ma'mah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. And Shalom to you, Akim, and Agwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, man, they trying to change daylight savings time. Esau called themselves starting what you would call daylight savings time, and now they want to take it away. They say the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So Esau thinks he's God, man. All right, this government, okay, and the ruling bodies, just like they did during the times of Ben Franklin. All right, that's when it's really started kicking off. Let me get my phone real quick. All right, because now you have what was that, Ben Franklin? You know, when was he around? Let me see something. We got a couple screenshots I want to get. All right, yeah, right here. I'm gonna read a couple screenshots I just took. Right here it says daylight savings time. Right, the nominal. What is the real reason for daylight saving time? We got to understand that as well. The nominal reason for daylight savings time has long been to save energy. See, Esau's controlling the time and the weather to control the people. All right, they control the weather, they control the people. They put wildfires here and there, they control the people. They cause storms and shit like that. They control the people, man. All right, stoking fear into everybody, moving around like cattle. So it says what? To save energy, man. Keep people from working so much or doing more activities. You know, a lot of people still had to go to work, but they had to, they move it forward or back or whatever. They move it forward. Then people was getting up earlier in the dark in the morning, but they had more daylight in the afternoon, in the evening, at sundown. Instead, the sun would be up still till about 7, 8 o'clock like it is right now. But in reality, outside of all the witchcraft and trickery, you'll see that time is the same. The Most High can control or shorten time, move the sun, do what he wants. All right? But it's still the same. Esau just controlling the numbers, shifting that joint up or down, up or down. That's it. The sun is still doing what it do, according to the Most High's order. All right? That's why the scriptures say he that now letteth will let till he be taken out of the way, man. He got to get taken out of the damn way. They're in the way of everything, man. All right, damn Edomites. It says the time change, right? The time change was first instituted in the U.S. during World War I, and then reinstituted again during World War II as a part of the war effort. See that? So now they're going into World War III. They're changing the times again. So that they said that nobody will ever have to change their clock back again starting next year in 2023. That's part of their new world order, man. All right, they couldn't do this without the green light from the elites of Esau. All right, so they're changing times and laws so they can have people getting up in the dark and having more daylight throughout the afternoon according to their time change. Right? Instead of going by standard time where people get up and to see the sunrise, you know, or get up when the sun is rising, either or get up at sunrise, however, or before. Instead, they wanted it to be hours of darkness, and then you watch the sunrise, and then in the evening you got more sun. It's just throwing things off, right? And thank God they can't do that. Thank Yahweh that they can't do that with the animals, man, because everything will be out of whack. All right? That's why the Most High got everything set, because the Lord used the sun to control everything, man. The Most High uses the sun to control the weather, control the animals, you know, and the moon for harvest, control the damn ocean and shit, the heat levels. You know, that would throw everything out of whack. So now Esau, you got Esau trying to block the sun out with chemtrails. All right? Slowing down the beams of the sun that hit the earth, causing the sun to do all kind of crazy, freaky shit. A bunch of CMEs and coronal mass ejections on a damn weekly basis, man. Shooting out solar flares and, you know, radiation at the earth. So here go a meme right here. A lot of y'all probably saw this meme before on social media of a Gadite leader, a chief. And he said this: an American pioneer explained the concept of summer and wintertime to an Indian chief. The chief replied, so basically talking about daylight saving time, right? The chief replied, only, he said white man, but it's Esau, an Edomite man, will cut 1 foot off a carpet, right? Cut 1 foot off, at least a foot, they cut it off at one end, and sew it to the other end, and then say that it goeth longer, that they made a longer carpet. All right, that's Esau, man, the damn devil. That's why the Lord calls them the devil, they're the deceiver. All right, the Ishmaelites didn't do that. The Persians didn't do that. They had their own calendar and shit. But look at Esau. They wanted what? Change times and laws. All right, they changed our laws. They changed the time, the calendar with Julius Caesar. All right. So now you have here, it says this, what states do not recognize daylight savings time? All right, so it lets you know they're not all in conglomerate with this idea of daylight saving time. All right, it says what? Only 2 states don't observe daylight saving time: Arizona and Hawaii. So what's next? All right, the bipartisan bill that passed in the Senate this week, named the Sunshine Protection Act. But they don't want to have the Jake Protection Act. They rather protect the animals and the damn time of day. It says the Sunshine Protection Act would ensure Americans would no longer have to change their clocks twice a year, starting in 2023. All right, so Esau think they're God, man. They controlling shit, but they're not really. They just doing magic, which would be trickery. All right, magic is not real. They just moving on the left hand side through their what? Their craftiness, through their deception. All right, deceiving people. You know, they can control people, man. Push the clocks forward, push them back. Now you got more hours and more sunlight in the afternoon. All right, yeah. So you had who was that? Ben Franklin. He the one that really started pushing it with the government when he was around to let me get it. Hold up, I'm gonna pull it up. All right, so now it says, what happens if daylight saving time is permanent? All right, if it was permanent, what will happen? Under permanent daylight savings time, just about all of the U.S. will experience later sunsets. See that right now, they're under daylight savings time. That's why you experience later sunsets. You get up in the morning, like right now it's 7 o'clock, but it's still dark outside. That's only because they push the clock back and forward. All right, I can never understand that shit. It's like some weird skullduggery. U.S. will experience later sunsets at 5 p.m. local time or later. But in places on the western edges of the time zone, like Michigan or West Texas, people will experience fewer days of early sunrise. So it'll be darker, less it'll be more in the morning. All right, on the West Coast. People will experience fewer days of early sunrise, which could curb morning activity. See that? They want to slow down morning activities or evening activities. That's why they manipulate it. People getting up more in the mornings, doing more things, they'll push the shit back or forward, and have people start getting up more in the afternoon. You know? So it says this, did I pull up one with Ben Franklin? Nope. It don't matter, but yeah, Ben Franklin did it too, man. All right, back then they weren't using the much energy. Look how much energy, the energy consumption that people are doing today. On top of that, because of Esau, all right, and because of their own greed and shit. You know. So now, yeah, Ben Franklin was doing that to get people to have to. He said he was getting up early. He was wasting most of his morning, so he wanted the time to be pushed back or forward, so they could have more daylight in the morning. All right. So that's how Esau got to do it. So now let's get into some scriptures. Get some understanding on this. All right, let's start here, man. Psalms 104 and 19, because you got a lot of people think that the sun and the moon was created on the fourth day, but the sun and the moon was created right with the earth. All right, and on the fourth day he appointed it and gave it order what it was going to be to man. All right, how long throughout the day, how much were the sunbeams going to touch the earth, when the new moon calendar, waxing, waning, how was it going to be reflected to us? All right, you had a heavenly perspective when he was creating everything out in the heavens, and then you had an earthly perspective looking up at the heavens. So the Lord was looking from both views when he was creating things. All right, so what was this going to be to man? That's when he set the sun and the moon and stars in order, gave it his order on the fourth day. All right, and I got scriptures to prove it. Psalms 104, because you couldn't have a day without the sun and the moon. All right, and after the first day, you had 1,000 years of each creation. All right, so after he created the sun and moon and stars and the earth, 1,000 years of that, then he created the firmament. At 1,000 years of that, he created the herbs and the animals on the earth, right? Because you had the sunbeams. The sun was still going, Then you had a mist coming out of the earth, like the dew in the morning from being cold at night. And then that would heat up the sun. The sun would heat up the earth throughout the day. Then at night it would get cold and it would turn into what? Moisture, all right? From that heat throughout the day on the earth. So it was 1,000 years of that. You had animals running around being created, different species of animals being created, flowers, all kind of fragrances, all over the earth, man. And man wasn't even on the earth yet. So he was saying, all right, what is this going to be to man? How much is going to touch them, the sunlight, the sunbeams? He put the firmament in place to block those sunbeams, okay, from hitting the earth. So, that's what you call the firmament. It's like 7 layers of the firmament. Ionization and scattering of the light, scattering the light so that we only see the color blue. The Most High is using all that, controlling the sunbeams, man. White light, all right? That's what I was trying to say years ago. So now, Psalms 104 and 19. See, Esau think he's God, so they're trying to control time, all right? Let me get that first. Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak. Daniel 7:24. And the 10 horns of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, the European Union, right? And another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and that's talking about America, right? The Battle of Independence. Also, who was that? Britain, Spain, and I think France. I could be wrong about France. I think it's Italy. I always forget. I can go back and look at it if I need to. But those 3 were that's right, man. Well, basically, America didn't defeat Russia. Britain. But they did make deals with Britain, and they took. I think it was France, right? So they took. It was Britain, France, and Spain, right? And through those wars with Spain, America was able to take certain lands like Hawaii and all that. And then through France, they was able to take control of the waters. All right. So that's when America became a dominant force on the scene. All right. And gained its freedom or independence from Britain, from the UK. All right. So yeah, man. Let's keep going. So it's talking about America right here, the place of confusion. That's what they're pushing out, confusion through their government. Once again, talking about they have fixed daylight saving time, and they're trying to put it and keep it in place and never move it. All right, to standard time. All right. So speaking about America, man, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, man. That's all they've been doing. Is speaking great words against the Most High. You know, blaspheming the scriptures. All right, this place is built upon blasphemy. So they're speaking great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, man. So that's what they've done to the children of Israel over here, and they're still trying to do is wear us out, right, put us in slavery, as they've done already. All right. And they're gonna what? They're gonna think to change times and laws. All right. So they thought to change times and laws, because America is another branch of the Roman Empire, basically revised Roman Empire all over again, just like Julius Caesar. You know, just like Pope Gregory thought he was amending what Julius Caesar did, and now you got Esau today, not this chick here eating my head, but her colleagues and her her leaders. They're seeking to do what? Push the New World Order agenda to where they save more energy. Global warming, you know what I'm saying? So they're thinking to change times and laws. They've done that with the calendar over and over again. Why? Because Esau thinks they're the power. They think they're God. They think the government is God. All right. So they think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and dividing of times. All right. So that's what, long season, short season. All right, long period of time to us, but it's a short season to the Most High. So we were going to be given into their hands and then taken away from their hands. All right, and that's another cut on vocab. The Lord said he's going to separate the Israelites from amongst these heathens, man. Okay, so now let's keep going. So this is what they're doing. They're thinking to change times and laws. Once again, there's no new thing under the sun, you know. And Esau's wickedness has not been wiped away at all. There you go. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. It says, Second Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, man. All right, so the falling away happened to Israelites in 70 AD, all right, under Titus and Vespasian of the Roman Empire. But now it says what? And that man of sin has to be revealed, man, because Esau and his woman are nothing but vanity, man. Even their thoughts are vain. No vain person, no more adulterous and vain person as Esau. All right, they're vain. They do vain shit and wicked shit. All right, so who opposeth? So he's opposing the Lord. See that? Challenging the Most High, as they've always done. And exalteth himself above all that is called God. So, and they're exalting themselves. That's what? Because of their pride. Through their riches, gotten by deceit, they've gained what? Much pride. And become the prideful Edomites that the Lord made them to be. All right. So whoso opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, all right, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth, he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Right? So they on the earth showing themselves that they're the power, that they think they're God. That's what the word God means, power. They even put images of themselves and try to apply it to the scriptures. Edomites. Right? Try to paint the likeness of their images in our scriptures. Like Caesar Borgia. So this is another part of Esau's wickedness, to be able to change times and laws, to change the time of day. When you're operating on a certain schedule, you get up, you want to see the sunrise at a certain time. Next thing you know, they take that from you. You be like, nah, it's 7 o'clock now. Just moving it, shifting it up and down. Now they want to shift it in place and lock it in place. That's part of the New World Order, man. Because it all deals with energy saving, or slowing down people's, actions or their work. All right. So now let me keep going, man. So yeah, they're seeking to change times and laws once again. Daylight saving time. All right. So here, let me see. Let's put this on. Let's do this one real quick. So this is what the Lord told us. 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. All right? Not in Esau's power or their government, but in the power of the Lord's might, man, and the spirit. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right, this is another wile of the devil, and trickery. All right, that's what the word wiles mean. So he said, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of that time. This is just more trickery from Esau. So don't be deceived thinking it's a certain time of day when it's really not, or thinking that what they're doing is correct. They really got this concept of daylight saving time in the evening, which wouldn't even be the proper way to say it. All right. So they call it the Sunshine Protection Act, daylight saving time, where they hope to save energy that they in consumption by getting people to do less things in the day or in the evening. That's control, man. All right, so the Lord said, put on the whole armor, so you won't fall for that shit. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. See, they're opposing the Lord, so we're wrestling against these devils too. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. All right. So wherefore take upon you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, right? Because the Lord said, I'm gonna get this real quick. Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of their times, man. See, this is all to throw people off. And strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? Because they tried to do this before with Ben Franklin. I think it's 1976. And when they tried to lock daylight saving time in place, and then people were complaining because they were getting up in the dark or traveling to school or whatever in the pitch dark, man. So it's just more confusion. That's what this place is built upon, confusion. The scriptures say the Lord is not the author of confusion. Most High set everything in order, decently and in order. All right? He created Esau to bring about that confusion. And science. All right? Let's get that. They said they're gonna deal with their scientists, but the Lord said, "What about that?" Oh, this is 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. So we keep and watch over that which is committed to our trust, which is this truth. Like trustees, right? Avoiding profane and vain babblings, man. So we ain't walking around like these church folk do or whoever, telling everybody, it's daylight saving time now, it's daylight savings time. Yeah, you might push your clock back just to stay on the clocks with dumb and shit. But in reality, you know what they're doing, all right? You know what they're doing. You got to change it so you don't be late for work. So your job will go according to it. You know, your job saying it's 5 o'clock because they move the clocks back or forward. But your watch might say 8 o'clock. Then you lose your job because of them. Whew. All right. So those are vain babblings that this woman's doing. And oppositions of science, falsely so called, right? Because the word science just means knowledge. And it's falsely called knowledge, man. It's not knowledge at all. You know? The true knowledge is of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and his of Yahweh's existence, of his laws, his experience, our history. You know, now to have knowledge of Yahushua and the way to Yahweh. That's knowledge. All right, understanding creation. Okay. So, let me get this real quick. Because the Most High controls everything. Right. And I may get that too. Yeah. If I have time, I'll go into it. All right, let me read this real quick. Because this is when the Lord appointed the sun. Psalms 104:19. All right. He appointed the... Matter of fact, I think I should go up some, right? Here you go. Psalms 104:1. Bless Yahweh, O my soul. O Yahweh, my power, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Yeah, not Esau. Who covers thyself with light as with a garment. So the Lord has light all around him. You can read about that in Revelation, I think, chapter 4. And Daniel, Ezekiel, chapter 1. Who covers thyself with light as with a garment. Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. Right? He stretched out the heavens, the Shemayim, like a curtain. All right. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. Man, like you lay beams or a foundation on the ground. He set his temple up in the Shemayim upon waters, man. That's miracles. Right? Who maketh the clouds his chariot. So he set up the clouds as his chariot. Right? What you would call the UFOs. Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, man. I mean, he flies through the air. He chose to do it that way. Who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flaming fire. So he just went... people use this and say it's talking about the angels, but it's not. The one in Hebrews is talking about the angels. But it's comparing it to this scripture, where he basically saying that he created the heavens and the earth, right? The sun, moon, and the stars, those are his creation, all right? He put them in order just like he did the angels. That's what he's saying right there. All right, he the one that set them ablaze, the stars and the sun. All right, and just like in Hebrews, it's talking about the actual angels, you know, and it's comparing it to this scripture in Psalms 104, where it's talking about the sun, moon, and stars. You can do your own research on it. All right, so this is when he created the sun, moon, and stars, and then he created what? Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be moved. So he created the earth next. All right, so he created the earth, and then he created a light, the sun, moon, and stars, to be able to see that earth. Just like it is today, all the proof is there. That's why you have the sun light on one side of the earth and it's dark on the other. You know what I'm saying? When he had that light, it was light on one side, dark on the other. He said, this going to be nighttime, that's going to be daytime. That's very simple. Nighttime for nocturnal animals, daytime for the day. It is what it is. But, it's right there. So all the proof is still there. The sun still goes up. It's light on one side of the earth, dark on the other. You know what I mean? So let's keep going. It says here, verse 19. He appointed the moon. See, this is when he gave it his appointment. All right. Psalms 104 and 19. Let's get that real quick. Psalms 104 and 19. It says here, he appointed. What was that? Here you go. And he appointed the moon for seasons, right? Let's get that word appointment. All right. To make, to fashion, to accomplish, to do work. All right. To produce, to work. So he gave it his order, put it to work. All right. To prepare. Now, because if you look up that word made, it also means to put something in order, all right? But just like he made us, and then he gave us order. He did the same thing with everything else, Verse 19, he appointed the moon for the seasons, man. He set that up for what? Seasons. To be able to tell us when the new moon comes in and stuff like that. All right, so he created the moon for that. All right. And the sun knoweth his going down. So the Most High set it up that way. He got control over the sun, moon, and stars. That's why Esau can't change it. They're trying to, but they can't. Only thing they can do is deceive everybody and change, shift their numbers up and down. But they can't change the operations of the sun and the moon. So he appointed the moon for seasons, and the sun knoweth his going down, man. So it knows when it's supposed to take his ass down, go around the earth. And they say that sunlight called light refraction or light scattering. That's why you see nothing but blue during the day. So the Lord controls that. That's how much power he got. That the blue hitting our eyes. No matter how much we look up into the sky, we can't see the darkness out there until nighttime. That's because that light, that sunlight is beaming white light, and the refraction is just like you putting a cup on the table, shining light through it with water. The water would be like the firmament, right? And the Shemayim, but the glass would be like the prism, all right? Prism is what separates light. So, creating this prism and scattering light, like blue light, red light. That's why at sunset you see red light, all right? Because that's the most bendable one. So the blue, then you see the red, then you see yellow. You know what I mean? So Most High controlling all of that. So he knows when it's supposed to go down, and that even the animals are set to that time clock with the sun and the moon. All right. Where was that at? Let's keep going. So the Lord appointed it. He appointed the moon for seasons to man. That's on Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, basically, man. All right. So that's when he gave his appointment on the 4th day. But he created it on the 1st day. All right. Because that's how you have days. He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. Thou makest darkness, and it is night. So in Revelation, Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, where it said what? And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, right? There you go, verse 4. And Yahweh, verse 3, and Yahweh said, let there be light. And there was light. If you look that up, it's talking about the sun. All right, white light. And Elohim saw the light that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. All right. And Yahweh called the light day. One side of the earth was light from the sun beaming on it. All right, the light that was over there, you put a bright white light like you light a lamp. Click on the lamp, it's shining. Like you see the lamp shining on my damn face. So the light was shining on one side of the earth, and the other side was dark. So he called that nighttime. All right, and it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So you had the first day of that happening, the sunrise, sunset, and then from that you had 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, that last one, sunrise, sunset, that's when the Lord created the firmament. 1,000 years of that. And then, so on and so on, all the way up until 6,000 years, around the time he created man, put man on the earth. Around, I think it was the 6th day, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and we're still continuing in that process of creation. The young lions, see, thou makest darkness, and it is night. So that's where you get nighttime, darkness from. That's what he called nighttime. All right. Wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. That's called nocturnal animals. See, throwing the sun off, that would throw all of that out of whack. The young lions roar after their prey, right, and seek their meat from Yahweh, right, in the nighttime. That's what they can see in the dark. The sun riseth, they gather themselves together and lay them down in their dens, man. Why? Because to get away from the shade, all right, the lions. And in the east, a lot of people would travel at nighttime because there was less sun. All right. So man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until evening. All right. So they would use the sun. Say, hey man, you work the sunrise, the sunset. And now Esau want to control that. So that's a blessing from the Lord. The Lord created that process to be able to go to work and come home and have rest. The sunrise, and he blessed our eyes and the sun setting or rising for us to be able to see it and to enjoy its sunrise, sunset, and to use it for our harvest and things like that. O Yahweh, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. All right. So yeah, in wisdom the Lord made everything. Esau has no wisdom. They don't know nothing. They become wiser than Daniel, but that's through their trickery. They don't know anything, man. Science, you can't believe science. All right. Science is what? The study of anything that moves. Something moved here, they say, all right, how did it move and where did it hit? And they study that. They don't study the Creator and what He says. All right, Sirach 43 and 5. No, I'll start from 1. Sirach 43 and 1. The pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven with His glorious show. So the Lord created the firmament, right? Okay. The sun when it appeareth. So you had the sunset that we just saw, we was reading about. Now we're reading about the sunrise. All right. So this is all part of the Lord's creation and beauty that He created. The sun when it appeareth, declaring at His rising a marvelous instrument. So it's an instrument for us to use, not something to worship. It's an instrument. They even had sundials. They would use that to tell time, right? And it's the Most High's instrument as well. The work of the Most High, man. Okay, so it's His work. It's something He created. At noon it parcheth the country. So at noon. So they put it at 12, so that'd be around 12 o'clock, or what you would call the 6th hour of the day. That would be around 12, right? Biblically, it'd be the 6th hour of the day, but 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? I think they say 12 p.m. Right? I can't remember. Even that's confusing. But the sun rises to its highest point. All right, so it parches the whole country at that point. It's blazing. But what happens if you look at the sun and it's parching the damn earth, but then you look at the clock and it say 1 o'clock or it say 2 o'clock? Confusion. A man blowing a furnace in his works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more. Okay, so the Lord got it set up to where the sun scorches the earth and gives it color as well. Because without the sun, you wouldn't be able to see color. Most I set it up that way. You wouldn't be able to see the color that's on an apple. That's why you take an apple and you put it under water, it'll turn blue. Because the light doesn't reach that far down into the water. The further you get away from the light, that red apple will turn blue or colorless. All right, like a black or blue. All right. So we see color because of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We see the plants as green because of the way he set these eyes up and the light that refracts from it. And the pigmentation, that's 2 different things. Of light and pigmentation, where you get colors from, all right? And certain lights and certain lenses can draw out certain pigments from objects. But even plants, they're really multicolored. In the kingdom, we're going to see them as they really are. They even give off an aura and light from it. Certain plants give off light that retract or UV rays or light, I think it is. All right, that can draw in certain bees and insects. And they even have sound. You know, some guy, he took a damn. Well, you can manipulate it. You know, I won't say they have sound, but he took a damn interface and he hooked it up to the plant. And the plant, the process of the enzymes moving all throughout the plant, he took those like positive, negative, just like in our body. He took that and he made that sound. All right, so when one move, he'd make a boom, and go this way, go boom. And he took that, the boom, 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 boom. That's like, yo, this is crazy, man. All right, but that's still another way of Esau manipulation. So you can't, So now a man blowing a furnace in the works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, man. What's that? Coronal mass ejections, CMEs, all right, sunburst. Sending forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes, man. We try to go outside, you look at the sun, you can't even do it. Because it's sending out what? Sun rays, sunbeams. All right, so the Lord, without the firmament in place, it'd be like standing on the damn moon. You'll get all the damn sun blast and radiation, be blind as hell. But the Lord had the firmament in place. Them people out there in them damn spaceships, man, they can't stare straight at the damn sun. All right, they can see it as bright light, as white light. They go near it, which they never do, it's too far, but what they see is white light. Us on Earth, we see a yellow sun or red or whatever color. But if you're out there in the heavens, you'll see nothing but just a pure white light. All right, if you get close enough, you'll see an inferno. All right. So yeah, man. It says this: great is the Lord that made it, and at His commandment it runneth hastily, man. So that's why the sun goes around the earth, okay, in orbit around the earth. And at His commandment, so they can't break His command. Right? The Edomites trying to throw everything out of whack, but they can't. They're gonna deceive everybody. Deceive the people. They can't move the object. They're gonna try to move the minds of the people and thinking that the object moved. Trickery. All right. Daylight saving time. So they want to cut one end off the blanket, put it on the other end, and say, hey, I got a longer blanket. Now it says this, talking about the moon. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times, man. All right, so that's why we use the moon to show when the new moon starts. All right, ISUPK, they use some weird calendar they said they had from 1969. You know, sorry, but I get up early in the morning and I do these lessons, man, so I'll be like looking like half asleep. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world, man. So, for the moon is the sign of feasts, all right, and holy days. A light that decreaseth in her perfection, so it waxes and wanes. All right. And the moon is called after her name, the month. So like the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. It's a perfect calendar in the sky for man to use. But Esau don't go by that. They created their own damn calendar where they give homage to their pagan idols, which is basically the worship of the planets. Instead of using the planets and the stars and the cosmos as instruments, they use it to instruments to worship. So they don't acknowledge the creator, they acknowledge the creation. That's why they have Sunday, Saturn Day, Thor's Day, you know, Moon Day, Monday. The beauty of heaven and the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. That's the sun and the moon. They're giving light in the highest places, man. All right? So that's what he set it up for. And the glory of it is like a painter. A painter paint his work, and you can glorify the art, meaning like that's beautiful, but you're going to always pay homage and honor and respect to the actual painter that painted it. All right? Esau do that for damn Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci's devil ass, but they won't do that for the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. They won't pay homage to the Lord's creations. All right, so verse 10 it says, at the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches, man. They're never going to faint in their watches, in their times, season, none of that. Esau cannot change that. They're trying to mess everything up, but they can't. Even China is going as far as creating their own artificial sun, which that's not the focus. Their focus is to find a new world order, find a new way to store nuclear energy, right? Not in the ground, not in containers, but in a floating container, right? That can heat up and stay hot for months, you know. So it's like a sun in the sky, and they find a different way to store nuclear energy right into the damn sky in a fucking ball. More witchcraft, right? So let's get into the story real quick of an example of daylight savings time. All right, when the Lord stopped the sun, which gave Joshua more sun into the evening, so he can continue to kill and destroy those Gibeonites, or I think it was Midianites. Right? The people that was in Jerusalem at that time, the Canaanites. All right, there was Midianites and the people of Gibeon as well. It was all Canaanites. Oh, Amorites. So like I said, Midianites. So now let's get it real quick. Joshua 10:5. So this is where they really get it from. They say from Ben Franklin. No, they get it, the idea of it, from the Most High. They stole everything from the Lord. They stole everything from so-called black people. You know how they do. Joshua 10:5. Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites, right? It was 5 kings that were ruling at that time over Canaan. And Joshua was about to go into that land, right? This is around the 1400s. All right, most likely around 1403, after Joshua crossed the Jordan River, 1403 or so. Joshua 10:5. Therefore the 5 king of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon and made war against it. All right. So they went up and camped against the Gibeonites that were protecting Joshua. All right. Because you had a lot of people over there in Gibeon. They had allegiance with the Israelites, you know. So, and the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to camp to Gilgal, saying, slack not thy hand from thy servants. Come up to us quickly and save us, and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, fear them not. So like the Lord is saying today, don't fear these devils. Give me 1 second. All right. So the Lord is saying, don't fear these damn devils. Fear them not. For I have delivered them into thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly and went up from Gilgal all night. And Yahweh discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah and unto Makkedah. See, the Lord fights for us, man. Who can stand against us? Nobody. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth Horon, so they thought they got away, just like Esau think they getting away, that Yahweh cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah. Wow, man. So the Lord cast down stones upon them. You know, either hail or meteors. From heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. And there were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel killed or slew with the sword. So the Lord fought for us, man. All right, let's keep going. Then spake Joshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorites, the Canaanites, before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, so this was Joshua speaking, son, just like Yahushua told the disciples, like, yo, don't you know that if you speak to this damn storm, you can move it? You know, when they were scared on the ship and there was a hurricane, and the Lord said, peace be still. You know, that's the type of power the Lord gonna give his elect. All right. Then spake Joshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, son, stand still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. So the Lord stopped the sun and the moon. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed. That lets you know that's what's in orbit and moving. And he stopped it. And what did that do? That gave Joshua more daylight to destroy these damn Canaanites. So that was an example of daylight's saving time. That's where they really get it from, the concept of it. But Esau take it and turn it into trickery to control and deceive people. Energy, saving energy. All right, so when you know Esau don't want to save energy or to save anything. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their army, their enemies. All right. And is not this written in the book of Jasher. Yeah, the book of Jasher is going around today. That's not the real book of Jasher, so don't fall for that. All right, so there is a book of Jasher, but this book today that's getting passed around, that's not it. All right, it had nothing to do with prophecy. It has a lot of lies in it. So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. All right, you talking about some daylight saving time? Let me see you all do that. You know, who gives a damn? Damn witch right here on the screen. It's Edomite. No, yeah, isn't that happy? We just get tired of changing our clocks forward and backwards, and that's what we're gonna do for the people. But at the same time, people still starving. You got famines kicking off and war all around the world. Goodness, boy. All right, so the sun didn't go down for a whole day, you know, and there was no day like that before or after it that Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man, for Yahweh fought for Israel. So now today, Yahweh's going to hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Shai, and he's going to fight for Israel, you know. So, and also the scientists know, you can look it up on Google about this. They know that the sun and the moon had stopped once before. They can do the calculations. And they know it was way back then during the time of Joshua that it happened once. All right, so yeah, man, that's the day. Let me get this again. All right, there you go, man. So Esau deceiving not only the world, but deceiving themselves and thinking that they're God and trying to control and change times. That's why the Lord can put everything back in order, man. He's doing it now. It says, when told the reason of daylight savings time, the old Native American said only an Edomite, but you know, see what it said there, Blanco man, would believe you can, you know, only an Edomite would believe that you can cut a foot off the top of a blanket and sew it on to the bottom of the blanket, and you'd be left with a longer blanket. So only a dumbass a baldo man. The word baldo is a Latin word for white. All right. So only them Edomites would think that, man. Why? Because their light is what? Darkness, man. Everything they use for their wisdom is of the world. And the Most High said, well, he made everything beautiful in his time. So the Lord set everything up perfectly, decently and in order. But he said what? He also set the world in their heart that man could not find out the way of the Lord, no matter how much they search and try. All right. So yeah, man, with that, I'm going to say shalom.